when a flood destroyed an entire town. Everyone thought it was the end, but one quiet man, with nothing left to lose, found a way to rebuild it, not with money, but with kindness and knowledge. Asterisk. It was early morning in a small village, near the mountains. The sound of rain had stopped, but the damage was everywhere. Broken homes, shattered bridges, and muddy roads filled with silence. People stood in shock, holding what little they had left. No power, no water, no hope. Among them was a middle-aged man named Arjun, a quiet electrical engineer who had returned to his hometown after losing his job in the city. He had no fame, no followers, no money, only a toolbox and a notebook full of ideas as he looked around the destruction. He saw children trying to dry their school books near the ruins of a collapsed building. One little boy said, "Uncle, when will the lights come back?" Arjun didn't have an answer. He simply said, "When we stop waiting for help and start creating it that night." He sat by candlelight, sketching on a piece of torn paper. He drew wires, turbines and circuits made from scrap metal. The next morning, he began to build. Asterisk. At first, no one believed him. How can one man bring power back when even the government failed? They laughed, but Arjun kept working. He walked miles to collect damaged fans, car batteries, and copper wires from the debris. Slowly, he built a small water wheel from bicycle parts and connected it to a motor base. Past the river still flowed through the ruined town. But now, it carried new hope. Arjun's small turbine started spinning, faintly at first, then faster, and then, with a spark and a hum, the first bulb flickered to life in the darkness. People gathered around, speechless, for the first time since the flood. There was light. Children cheered. Old men wept. Arjun said quietly, "This is just the beginning." Word spread quickly. The villagers brought him more broken equipment. He taught them how to reuse old electronics, how to create small energy sources, and how to rebuild together within weeks. The entire town glowed again, not because of government aid, but because of one man's belief that knowledge is power in the truest sense. Asterisk. Months later, journalists came to see the miracle village. When they found Arjun, he was sitting under a tree, fixing a damaged lamp. A reporter asked, "Sir, how did you do all this without any support?" Arjun smiled. "I didn't rebuild a town," he said softly. "I rebuilt belief. Once people believed they could do something, the lights came back on by themselves." The world called him the forgotten engineer. But in his village, people called him the light giver. He refused awards, saying, "Real recognition is when a child can study at night again." Asterisk. Years later, when a new flood hit another region, people there used Arjun's open source designs to rebuild their power grids within days. He never became famous, but his work outlived him, carried on by ordinary people he once taught. The story of Arjun isn't about technology. It's about the power that wakes up when one human decides to care. He proved that even in the darkest times, light isn't built with machines, it's built with courage. Asterisk. So when the world around you feels broken, remember Arjun, the engineer who rebuilt hope. He didn't wait for heroes. He became one. What would you rebuild if you stopped waiting for someone else to start? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe to English Story Haven, where every story reminds you, even one spark can light the world.